When you start to pay attention, you'll notice that reporters, when they're reporting on intimate partner homicide or murder by somebody's partner or ex, they talk about how senseless it is and what a tragedy and how nobody saw this coming, and they like to interview people that knew the killer minorly or saw them around town or whatever, and these people are always like, well, they were such a nice person, I can't believe that happened, yada yada. And that gives people this false idea that it just came out of nowhere. You can see them coming. Most intimate partner homicide, actually, stay tuned, it might save your life. Last week, I did a tribute to the women that have been killed so far by intimate partners in 2020. This is a significant problem. It's not just a significant problem because of the pandemic. The pandemic may make it worse, but it's something that I've been researching for a while. It's something that has been very near and dear to my heart. If you aren't aware, I wrote a book called In Case I'm Murdered, and I titled it that because the whole time I was writing it, I was aware of the possibility of myself being murdered by intimate partners. And not even just one of them. This is real, and it is a problem, and it is a much bigger problem than people are aware of. So I wanted to pay tribute to women who were alive at the beginning of 2020 and are not now. They are people. They had dreams and goals and hopes and futures and jobs and children, and they were no different than you and I. Okay, but what we're talking about in this video are murders that you can see it coming. There are clear signs if you know what to look for. So we're going to talk about 10 of those signs today. The number one sign, big flashing lights, red flags, indicators, caution tape. I don't have any, or I would be using it. The number one thing that you need to pay attention to as far as signs that your life is in danger is that you feel like your life is in danger. Okay? If that's on your radar at all, you're in danger. If you have considered that this person might kill you, you're in danger. If they have joked about killing you, you're in danger. If they have talked about killing you, you're definitely in danger. If they have done physical things that you were scared you were going to die, you're in danger. If you have had the thoughts, this is what I'm going to do with my kids when I die, or who would take care of my kids if I wasn't here anymore, or anything that indicates that somewhere on your radar, and it may not even be conscious yet, you may not even be aware that you're doing it, there's a possibility of you dying, that is a huge red flag. That is the number one indicator that you're in danger. Another red flag to be aware of is that he doesn't believe that the rules apply to him or laws apply to him. This has been very common with guys that I have been involved with. They all think that they're smarter than the law, and the law doesn't apply to them. Yes, it might be for those stupid, feeble, normal human beings, but not them. No. They're above that. Another red flag. Does he have a criminal record of destruction of property or violence against anyone? If they've been violent before, and that includes to property, destruction of property is violence, then they're likely to be violent again. I always feel like I need to caveat everything, except for, but sometimes the reality is, yes, there's always exceptions to the rule, but in general, if they have abused, if they have been violent, if they have destroyed, they're likely to do it again. I'm going to use male terms for this video. It does not mean, and I want to do more research because it's possible that the tide is changing a little bit. It does not mean that females can't and don't murder people. They definitely can, and they do. But in terms of intimate partner homicide, statistically, historically, this is almost always a male perpetrated criminal act against a female. Almost always. Like I said, maybe the tide's changing, but for right now, those are the pronouns that we're going to use. He did it, she died. Does he use alcohol or drugs to excuse violent behavior? I'm sorry, baby, I was drunk. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to squeeze that hard. I never should have punched a hole in the wall. I just was drunk and I was being stupid. Nah, bro, nah. If alcohol makes you that way or drugs make you that way, you should stop using them. It doesn't get to be an excuse. What they're doing is they're taking away their responsibility and they're putting it somewhere else. And you can't help somebody who isn't willing to accept responsibility for what they do. And you can't work with somebody like that. They're not in a position or a state right now where they're going to get better. Does that mean they're never going to get better? No, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen with you. Because right now, they're not there. Is he controlling? People who have not been in domestic violence relationships do not understand this aspect of relationships. If he's controlling you, he's dangerous. If he controls what you wear, who you talk to, what you do, whether or not you work, whether or not you go to school, or anything else, that's a red flag. Does he minimize his behavior? That means, does he physically abuse you in any way and then tell you it wasn't that bad? Or go psychotic and destroy things in the house and then really downplay it? Oh, it wasn't that big of a thing. I mean, people break things when they get angry sometimes. It's not the end of the world, whatever. Or even just verbal. They called you names or they made you promises and later they're like, it wasn't a big deal, I was just joking. Or you're too sensitive. Anything like that at all, that's downplaying what they are doing. Again, not taking responsibility for their actions. And again, a red flag. Another one for you to consider is he physically abusive towards you? There's a long ways between smacking you or grabbing your hand too hard and murder. Okay, but if they don't respect you as a human being to the point where they're going to do something that is going to physically harm you, it's really not that far of a stretch to go from that mental place to murder. It really isn't. If they don't respect you as a human being at this point, why would they respect you as a human being enough to not take your life? This is one that I was completely unaware of when I was younger. So this is a note for younger people especially, but older people too if you haven't figured this out yet. Did he want to move in, get married, or have babies really fast? Anytime that somebody wants to progress that much, that fast in a relationship, it's a red flag. What that is, it's a manipulation and control tactic. They want control over you. And if they live with you, they can control you. If they are married to you, they can control you. If you have their child, they have a hook in you for the rest of your life. These are all control. Now, that does not mean that if somebody wants to marry you, that they're going to be abusive and kill you. That's not what I'm saying. But if, like, you start dating somebody and they want to get really serious in one of those ways after a month or two, if they're talking about marriage in the first month, that's a red flag. Does he say things like till death do us part or ride or die when he's talking about your relationship? It sounds really nice in theory until you get to the point where you're researching intimate partner homicide like I have, and you hear over and over and over again, till death do us part. Till death do us part. I told you till death do us part. If I can't have you, no one can. Till death do us part. Till death do us part is part of marriage. So if they're saying that before you're married, they don't have any business saying that. None. And when we say it when we get married, we are meaning until death, as in some type of health issue, old age, a car accident, something like that. We're not talking about death at the hands of the other person. That was never part of the deal. Another red flag is that he has stalked you in any way. He may have stalked you physically himself. He may have stalked you through digital stuff, through social media, through apps on your phone, apps on your computer, etc. He might stalk you through other people. Any of those. is stalking, and it's serious, even though it's something that we make light of with things like, haha, Facebook stalking. I Facebook stalked my ex. Haha, I just wanted to see whether or not they were with somebody. That's not the kind of stalking that we're talking about. This is significant. It's serious. I'm going to read you a couple of statistics that I put in my book. 76% of female intimate partner homicide victims were stalked by their intimate partner. 76%. And that's 76% that they are aware of. 54% of victims reported stalking to police before they were killed by their stalkers. Over half of these people asked for help about stalker, who ended up taking their lives. 89% of those who had been physically assaulted had also been stalked within 12 months of their murder. I told you that I was going to do 10. The title of this video is 10 red flags that indicate that you might be in danger for intimate partner homicide. But I want to include 2 more as kind of a bonus, if you want to call it that. But really, there are 2 more that when I was looking back at this list, I really want you to also know. So, does he refuse to accept rejection? Some people refuse to handle being told no. Whether it's rejection of your ideas, rejection of your thoughts and opinions, rejection of himself as like your partner. You know, some people are okay. My most recent stalker was fine when we were together. Like, not perfect, but he treated me well for the most part until I broke up with him. And then that rejection changed everything because he wasn't wanting to deal with the fact that he was being told no. And the other one is, does he seem to get a lot of his identity from you? Some people will say that this doesn't seem to apply to them. If like he's beating them, then they're gonna think, oh, he doesn't get much of his identity from me at all because he thinks that I'm nothing. But in that case, maybe he's getting his identity from you because he feels like he's able to be in control. So there's an identity thing. On the other hand, other guys will not be abusive in that way at all, but they come off as more suffocating. But they're like, this is my girlfriend, or this is my wife, this is my love, the mother of my children. I want to be around her all the time. I want to do everything that she wants to do. I want to make her so happy. She makes me so happy. And they like lose their identity as an individual, or they never had it in the first place, and they were looking for somebody to latch onto, to suck onto, so to speak, where they just need you to complete them. The reason that those people are dangerous is because if they don't have you, they don't feel like they're anything. And that's when you get the murder-suicides. That is also dangerous. And I had to put it out here because it doesn't present like physical abuse, angry aggression, creepy person in that way. It presents totally different, but it is still dangerous. Still watching. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Thank you for educating yourself. Thank you for sharing this video with other people who are going to need this information too, or who might know somebody else who does. Guys, we want this to be a ripple effect. Like, I'm throwing the rock into the pond. Go forth and spread that word. Go forth and spread that information that is going to save people's lives. In the spirit of doing that, in the spirit of ripple effect, I want to help the ripples keep going. So if you guys would get onto my Twitter at AprilHardy01, screenshot sharing this video with somebody, tag me in it, and I'm going to enter you into a drawing. Enough by Jennifer Lopez has been one of my favorite movies of all time when dealing with domestic violence and in particular intimate partner homicide. It's a fantastic movie. If you are unfamiliar with the idea of intimate partner homicide, it will really get you into the perspective of somebody that is scared of it, which is huge for understanding this stuff. And then I am also going to include this book, which I did a review of, and you can watch. I will link it. This book was the first self-defense book that I got when I was seriously fearing for my life and my kids' lives. It's a fantastic book. It's short. It's a very easy read because he just talks like a normal person. There's humor, there's great information, and so I'm going to put these two together in a drawing. If you share this video and screenshot it, send it to my Twitter. Until next time, stay safe.
Your things are as powerful.